It was a freezing February night in 2004. New Hampshire's White Mountains were covered in snow, quiet and haunting. En route 112, a small car sat crashed against a snowbank, engine off, lights dim. Inside were textbooks, a stuffed toy, a few bottles of alcohol, and a young woman's belongings. But she was gone. No footprints, no sign of struggle, just silence. Her name was Maura Murray, 21 years old, a nursing student, bright, athletic, loved by many. And that night, she vanished without a trace. For 2 decades, her disappearance has become one of America's most enduring mysteries. A story that lives somewhere between tragedy, obsession, and myth. To understand how Maura vanished, we need to know who she was. Born in 1982 in Hanson, Massachusetts, she was the 4th of 5 children. Her father, Fred, was a hard-working man, close to his daughter, proud of her ambition. Her mother, Laurie, described her as kind, strong-willed, and quietly determined. Maura was a gifted runner, a scholarship athlete at West Point before transferring to the University of Massachusetts, Amherst, to study nursing. On the surface, her life seemed normal, a promising student with plans, friends, and a steady boyfriend, Billy, who lived in Oklahoma. But like most young people, Maura carried burdens she didn't always share. Stress from school, a recent car accident, trouble balancing relationships, and perhaps something deeper, a sense she needed to get away. On February 9, 2004, Maura sent emails to her professors saying she'd be out for a week due to a family emergency. There was no emergency. She withdrew $280 from an ATM, bought alcohol from a nearby liquor store, packed her car with clothes and supplies, and started driving north. By 7 p.m., she was deep in rural New Hampshire. No one knows exactly why she chose that road or that town. What we do know is that around 7:27 p.m., a local woman named Faith Westman called 911, reporting a single-car accident on Route 112. A black Saturn sedan had skidded off the road into a snowbank. Inside, a young woman. She appeared uninjured but shaken. Another neighbor, a bus driver named Butch Atwood, stopped to help. He offered to call for assistance, but Maura refused. She said she'd already contacted AAA. She hadn't. Moments later, when police arrived, the car was empty. Maura was gone. Her footprints disappeared at the edge of the road. Dogs lost her scent within a few hundred feet, as if she'd vanished into thin air. By midnight, a search was underway. Police combed the area. Volunteers arrived with flashlights and dogs. Helicopters hovered overhead. Nothing. Inside Maura's car, investigators found strange details. Her packed bags, a box of wine, some beer, and an empty bottle. The airbags had deployed, but there was no blood. Her phone, credit cards, and student ID were left behind. It didn't make sense. If she was injured, where did she go? If she ran away, why leave everything behind? And if she got into another car, who picked her up in the middle of nowhere? As dawn broke, Fred Murray, Maura's father, arrived from Massachusetts, exhausted and desperate. He joined police and volunteers, searching every inch of Route 112. He pleaded for national attention, but the case remained local, small, almost quiet. Days turned to weeks. Snow melted, leads dried up. Maura was nowhere to be found. Soon, theories began to swirl. Had she run away to start a new life? Was it suicide? Had someone abducted her? No theory fit cleanly with the evidence. Then came the online world. In the early 2000s, online forums were still new. Yet Maura's case found a digital home. People from all over began analyzing timelines, maps, phone records, satellite photos. They debated every decision she made, every word in her last emails, every possible sighting. It was one of the first true crime cases to live and grow on the internet. Over the following months, police and family members followed hundreds of tips. Some claimed to have seen Maura walking down the road. Others swore she'd hitched a ride. One man even confessed, but his story fell apart in hours. Fred Murray clashed with investigators. accusing them of holding back information. He believed someone local had abducted his daughter. Police insisted there was no evidence of foul play. Both were probably right, and both were helpless. As months became years, new details surfaced. Phone calls to Billy, her boyfriend, just before she left. A potential meeting she'd planned with friends. And a chilling pattern. She'd looked up directions to Bartlett, New Hampshire, an area where she and her family had vacationed years earlier. Was she trying to return to a happier place? Or was she running from something? In the years since, countless people have tried to solve the puzzle. Private investigators, internet sleuths, podcasters. They dissected her last known moments, the crash, the witness accounts, the strange gaps in time between calls and sightings. Every lead seemed to promise a revelation, and everyone ended in frustration. Let's look at what people believe happened to Maura Murray. The first theory, the runaway. She wanted to escape. Her emails, her secret trip, the money withdrawal. Maybe she planned to disappear. But if so, where did she go? Her bank accounts were never touched again. Her phone never used. No records, no sightings. The second, an accident. She wandered into the woods, disoriented, perhaps injured, and died in the cold. Search dogs, helicopters, and divers found nothing, not even a shoe. The third, foul play. Someone stopped to help, and she got in the wrong car. The area was remote, dark, with no cell service. Whoever took her could have vanished into the night long before help arrived. Every theory holds some truth, and everyone collapses under its own weight. The deeper you look, the more the case unravels into contradictions. A timeline that should make sense doesn't. A disappearance that should leave clues left none. 20 years later, the mystery of Maura Murray lives on, not just as a case file, but as a haunting story that continues to pull people in. Her father never stopped searching. He walked those same roads every year, hoping for answers. Her siblings, her friends, they kept her name alive through interviews, billboards, documentaries. Every anniversary they still gather, still hoping for a call that never comes. And yet, her story did something few disappearances do. It changed how the world looked at missing persons. It showed the power and danger of online investigation. It revealed how easily fact can blur with theory, how empathy can twist into obsession. Even today, new leads surface. In 2019, ground-penetrating radar found something strange near an old house close to the crash site. Excavations followed. Nothing was found. In 2021, bones were discovered in nearby Loon Mountain. Again, not Maura's. Each clue brings hope and heartbreak. What remains is the human story. A young woman who might have been lost, frightened, or running, but never deserved to vanish. A family that refused to forget, and a question that may never be answered. Sometimes mysteries don't end with truth. Sometimes they end with silence, and what we choose to believe in that silence. Maybe Maura was trying to start over, seeking peace in the mountains she once loved. Maybe she trusted the wrong stranger. Maybe she's still out there, somewhere, watching the world debate her story. We'll never know. But here's what we do know. A car crashed on a snowy road in 2004. A young woman stepped into the cold night. And the world hasn't stopped asking why. No body, no trace, no answers. Just a young woman who drove into the mountains one winter night and was never seen again. The Disappearance of Maura Murray, case unsolved.